We go 3, 2.
This inflation is getting hot. Oh my gosh, inflation is out of control. My wife and I spoke about it. The way inflation is going right now in the United States, our son will never own a home where we currently live right now unless we do something about it. Tonight, I'm going to show you the game plan of what my family and I are doing to make sure my son is able to buy a home where I live in California. What's going on, guys? My name is Min Win with What's a Mortgage. Welcome to our channel. The goal of our channel is to simplify home ownership. If it's your first time tuning in, do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe or notification button so you're notified every time we go live or post new content. We go live every Monday night on Facebook and YouTube at 9 o'clock. Tuesday night on Instagram, and Wednesday night on TikTok. And we post tips daily on Instagram and TikTok, so don't forget to follow us on our other platforms. Also, this is an interactive live stream, so ask a lot of questions. And if our live stream brings you any value, please tag and share this video with someone you know that's interested in home ownership. And tonight, we are going to go over my kid's game plan. We're going to go over creating a Roth savings for my son, how I'm saving money for my kid to buy a house. Yes, sometimes we need to start thinking about our children sooner than later. Okay? The longer you wait to start building a future for your child, the more expensive it will get. The sooner you start, the cheaper it is. Remember, as you get older, you can't work as hard. As you get over, you can't grind as bad. So when you get older, you want to worry about yourself. So when you're at a younger age, it's easier to focus on your child. Okay, so let's talk about this Roth savings that we're starting for our son. First of all, what is a Roth IRA? It is an individual retirement account, an investment vehicle, not a wallet or a wallet. It's not a stock, a mutual fund, an ETF, exchange trade funds, or an index fund. These are post-tax contribution. The money you put in has already been taxed. After you're 59 and a half years old, you can withdraw out your contribution and the interest tax-free. You can withdraw after 5 years. You can take out $10,000 without any penalties if you're going to include the contribution and the interest. But if you want to withdraw only the contribution, you can draw out at any time. So we did 2 types of retirements for my son. Okay, tonight we're going to talk about the Roth IRA. We also did something called the Index Universal Life. So we currently have a Roth IRA for my son right now. I did a lot of research and I looked into how do I make sure that the money compounds, because stressing about day trading is hard. Stressing about crypto is hard. Right? Most people who invest can do something called dollar cost averaging, which means you put in money every month. So of course, our strategy is we can put in money every month. A huge lump sum would be hard. Monitoring day trading would be even harder. So of course, with dollar cost averaging, putting it into the right index will make him money when it's time to buy a house and retire. The only problem is if we did other vehicles, he would have to pay taxes later on the interest. So that's why we went with a Roth. So remember, as you're out there looking for retirements, myself, we want something tax-free later on. As you can tell with inflation, taxes increasing almost every couple of years. So as they increase tax, if you pull it out at retirement, all that money is getting taxed. How can you afford to live if you're too busy paying taxes? Okay. Also remember, this is right here is a vehicle. So in the vehicle, you still have to buy either stocks, you have to buy either index funds, ETFs, whatever you buy. You can even buy crypto in your Roth. So there's a lot you can buy. The reason why I like a Roth compared to just opening a brokerage account and buying stocks or buying ETF and index, when you make trades, if you're a proactive or sort of proactive trader, right? Or if you decide, you know what, I want to buy some of this because it's at a discount, you don't pay taxes in your retirement, right? Day trading is retirement funds is a dream for day traders. When you trade in your retirement and you sell that stock or you sell that equities to buy another one, you don't pay taxes on the gain. But if it's not in a retirement, every time you trade or sell, you create a taxable event, which means you have to pay taxes. So how can I financially grow my son's retirement if every time Uncle Sam's looking to pick out of it? That's why we went with a Roth IRA. But remember, when you go with the Roth, And the money doesn't go into any investment. The money just sits there. It does not grow. Okay. So when you put in your Roth, you have to decide, what are you going to invest in? If you don't know what to invest, definitely look it up on YouTube. Talk to a financial planner. One last thing. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing with you what I am doing to make sure my son gets to buy a house where I live and also have money for retirement. All right. Hopefully you guys got all that. So here are the rules of the Roth. Must make under 144 grand a year as an individual. An individual makes more, they are not allowed to contribute. You must file income tax. If you don't file income tax, you cannot get a Roth. You can file taxes at any age. The max Roth contribution right now is $6,000 a year. Individuals don't pay federal income tax if they make under $10,000. So I did a little reel on this, or I talked about it in the comments in my stories. And a lot of people ask, oh my, how can you give your son a Roth if they don't file income tax? So at any age, your child can file an income tax. One lesson to teach you: never give your kid money. Pay them. Even if you're a wage earner or self-employed, you can pay your kid. As long as your kid takes the money and files income tax, they can put money into their Roth. Well, if I pay them, they're going to pay taxes. Like I said, look it up yourself. But right now in 2022, if an individual makes under $10,000 a year, they do not pay federal income tax. So that's why I'd rather pay my son and not give them the money. If you give them the money, they can't file an income tax. Do they need to go out and open a business? No, they can file under a Schedule C, a sole proprietary. But check this out. If you are self-employed and you gave your kid $10,000, that $10,000 is off your books as well. So let's say you made 100 grand a year. You're getting taxed on 100 grand. You give your kid 10,000. You get taxed on 90. That 10,000 went to your kid. Your kid doesn't pay any taxes on it. So that's a double whammy of wins right there. So if you're self-employed and you pay your kid, okay, make sure you're paying them to do something that they can do. My kid holds the camera all day when we record. My kid cleans his room, takes the trash out, does certain things for my parents and my grandparents and for my parents and my wife's parents, and we all give him money. Okay, take that back. We pay him. Okay, and with that money, we're putting it into his Roth. So remember that when you are looking into putting money into Roth, make sure your kid files tax returns. It's really important. Without, you're gonna get some penalties. So here's our plan. Okay, our plan is for the next 25 years. My son right now is 7 years old, and at the average age of a first-time homebuyer is 33 to 36 years old. My wife, my wife's mom, my parents, and I will pay him a total of $500 a month for helping out with errands around the house and for extra credit work for school. When he is 21 years old, he will begin to contribute the $500 himself to his Roth IRA. Okay, Enzo, if you're watching this, when you're 21, daddy expects you to help out as well. Okay, so for 25 years, between my parents, me, my wife, and my wife's mom, we are going to put in money every month to contribute $500 a month. We're going to pay him. So for 25 years, if we do this consistently, we will not have to stress about him in the future. I know it's hard to commit. That's why you need to sit with your family. If you don't have $500, that's fine. For myself and my family, we can budget the $500, right? If everyone threw in 125, out of 125 divided by 2, every 2 weeks, we put that into account and we pay him, and that's the money he's gonna put into his Roth. But of course, by the time he hits 25, I gotta think about myself and my wife and hopefully my parents. And my mother-in-law will kind of back off as well. So right now, he'll be 32 years old. So at 32, we're going to be like, no, we can't do this forever. So when you do this, you don't have to do it forever. You just got to make it to 25. Okay. So now he's 32 years old. We can pull back. If he wants to buy, great. If he doesn't yet, he can let the money continue to compound. But let's say 32, he hits the jackpot. I'm ready to rock and roll and buy. Okay. Now, before we show the results, here is the calculator I'm using. If you are doing any investing, I suggest you use this investor.gov compound interest calculator if you're going to do any dollar cost averaging. If you want to see if the juice is worth the squeeze or when it's worth the squeeze to invest, use this investor.gov, okay? So in investor.gov, in 25 years, we have contributed a total of $150,500 to his account in 25 years. Total interest gain, $291,559. So in 25 years, this boy has close to double his money. Double his money, $442,059. So when he hits 32, right? We can blink it one day and we're 32 years old. He's got almost $450,000. Remember, with the Roth, with the contribution, we can pull out whenever we want, just the contribution. So he can pull out $150,500 to put a down payment on a house. Of course, he needs to qualify with his income, and I'm hoping he does, but now he can use the full amount of money when he is ready. And this is just $500 a month amongst our whole family. He's pretty much the only grandchild, so it makes it a little bit easier, okay? So we took the money, we bought a house, and of course, I'm going to educate him on when you refinance down, not refinance to keep creating debt, okay? You need money, go get an equity line of credit. I'm going to teach him to do it the right way. Unless rates drop, you refinance, but don't do a 30-year fix. Let's say he's 10 years in his loan, we're going to do a 20-year fix. So trust me, I'm going to make sure if he refis, he's going to do it right. He's going to stay on pace to paying off his home, okay? Now, 30 years later, he bought his $150,000. He left $291,000 in there. 30 years later, he'll have $3 million in his account, tax-free. So at 32, 25 years later, we didn't put a single dollar into his Roth. We just were aggressive for the first 25 years, and then we let the interest sit there for another 30 years. So pretty much 55 years in your Roth when he is ready to retire. He'll have a house that's paid off. He'll just have property taxes, and then he'll have his $3 million. But for some reason, he doesn't want to pay his property taxes. He can do a reverse mortgage, right? Called a LISA, life expectancy set aside, and he can take the equity and pay his taxes. Yes, his balance will grow because he's using his equity. But at that time, let's say right now, rent's at $2,500 a month. 30 years from now, rent's at $6,000. I'd rather pay the property taxes, okay? So have your retirement, pay your property taxes, right? And have your house, pay your property taxes, or you can still pay yourself. We don't know by the time he hits, his 65 years, okay, or 55 years. Will there still be Social Security? Most likely not. That's why we are making sure we are setting up things the right way. We are making sacrifices right now to position our son to live by us and have a great retirement. The best feeling from every parent that I've heard is that they don't have to stress about their child. And the best way is to have a strategy, stick to the plan, and do your best to be faithful to it. And by the time your kids become of age, they'll be ready to go, you know what? Thank you, mom and dad. And guess what? I don't have to move back home, which is the biggest, one of the main factors why we're doing this, all right? I want my son. I love my son, but when I get old, I don't want my son to live with me, okay? If my wife, you're watching this, of course, I'm just saying that, but yes, I don't want him to live with me, all right? Hopefully this helps you guys out. All right, guys, so if this information helps you out, do me a huge favor. Save this video, share this video, and if you're not following by now, please hit that subscribe and notification button. If you have mortgage questions, please go ahead and leave in the comments before we get some Q&A. Also, guys, don't forget to follow us on our other platforms. It's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, okay? And if you have mortgage questions, please go ahead and give us a call, 714-790-9697, or you can email us info@whatsamortgage or message us on this channel, okay? Also, guys, remember, I am not a financial planner. I'm not telling you when you put it in your Roth, you still got to put it, you got to invest it somewhere. If you don't know where, ask a financial planner. If you want to be safe, you can Google it. I didn't say this. Warren Buffett says buy index funds and ETFs, okay? I didn't say this. But if you are looking into, if you Google or YouTube the word index funds or ETFs, the main ones will pop up. Yes, there is a dip right now in 2022, but long term, right? Long term, it's going to grow, right? If you do dollar cost averaging long term, that's why you need that 55 years, that 25 years, the extra 30 years to let the account grow. But we're going to talk about IUL, Index Universal Life, next week. And if the market crashes, you still make money. That's the other account that we're building from, which we'll talk about next week. All right. Hopefully this information helps you out. Let's get some Q&A here. What's going on, Nicole? Lou, are the same rules applying with siblings? Applying with a sibling? I don't know what that means. Same rule.
A sibling, like a sister.
What do you mean?
Like get a Roth for your
Oh yeah, you can. The Roth is not under your name, Lou. The Roth is under the name of the person who's getting the Roth. So anyone can contribute to it. Remember, you're not contributing to it directly. You are paying your sibling, and your sibling's the one who puts the money in it, and your sibling's the one who's gonna file tax returns. So they don't even have to be related to you, okay? But you pay them out of your post income. So you've already been unless you're self-employed, right? If you're not self-employed, different story. If you are self-employed, you would 1099 them, and then they, of course, if it's under 10,000, they don't pay taxes on it, and they can still deposit into their account and max out their Roth as well. Okay. See here, what's going on, Rosie? What's going on, Nicole? Where can I get started? So, Rosie, I do not do Roth IRAs. I have mine through Franklin Templeton. There's a lot of companies you go to. If you go through TD Ameritrade, they do not do fractional shares. So if you, let's say you want to do, I want to do $500 a month, or I want to do $1,000 a month, but I want to buy SPY, right, which follows the S&P, or QQQ, which follows the NASDAQ, right? Typically the shares are a couple $100 a share. If you go with a Roth IRA, make sure it's with a company that lets you buy fractional shares, right? Some Roth will let you do only mutual funds. It all depends. Make sure you talk to a financial planner or reach out to someone and do your research. Roth, I said, is just a vehicle. Okay, so we're using a vehicle to invest, and that's the Roth, and it's just there and available, but you still got to buy stocks. Hopefully that helps you out. Okay. I think that's about it. Hopefully this information helps you out. If it did, do me a huge favor again. Like I said, please follow this channel. All right, guys. I think that's it for Q&A tonight. If you have other questions, please message us. Give us a call, 714-790-9697. And we want to end all our live streams with our attitude is gratitude. Without you, there is no us. So thank you guys so much, and have a great